Wow, it has been a minute since I have done a video for this league. Good morning, by the way, everybody, or good afternoon, most likely, as you probably don't live on the West Coast, many of you. It's a beautiful sunny day here in San Diego, East County, where I live, where the weather's even sunnier than it is at the beach. I gotta say, it has been very nice. I think we've had 2 days of rain in the last 6 months, and I know a lot of people are like, well, you need rain. Oh, okay, that's fine, but I mean, we do get all of our water from the Colorado River, and we've had a couple of rainy winters, so I don't know. I think San Diego and California and Southern California in general is going to survive. We don't pay the high prices here for it to rain all the time. We actually come down here for the droughts, for the dry weather. I'll admit it. And again, we get our water from the Colorado River, and if it goes up in price, hey, everything is going up in price anyways. So be it. As a matter of fact, I mean, I hate to get off the topic too much of football, but real quickly, back about, what was it? I think about 4 or 5 years ago, all of a sudden, the price of water just jumped here. It used to be you could get your car washed at the wash down the street here for I think it was like $5. That same car wash now costs something like $10. Kind of ridiculous. So I guess, there was a drought going on, but now with all this rain, you would think that, oh, no more drought. All the reservoirs are filled up and stuff. And no, they don't lower the price. See, whenever they raise the price on something, it doesn't seem like it matters to them if conditions change and you shouldn't be paying such a high price anymore due to scarcity. They just kind of keep it up there, and that's the way it goes. They normalize it, as so to speak. At any rate, on screen, I think you guys can see what I've put up here. I've got the bowl schedule for the first round. These are the important bowls. These are the championship bracket bowls. And as you can see here, we've got three games, 6 teams competing. Georgia got the bye this season. They're the number 1 team, and well-deserved. What a season for Hunter. Great year he's having. And I would hate to see him go down in the next round here in his first bowl game after such a great year. Honestly, I'm rooting for Hunter. Plus, he paid for the league this year. So, I feel like, man, I'm pulling for this guy. As much as I'd like to win a championship, I wouldn't want to be the guy to take down Hunter Thompson. So that being said, look, if the Aztecs win their bowl game and they're playing in the Sugar Bowl, this is the second year in a row that the Aztecs have gone to this bowl game. Last year they played Colorado here. We're playing Oregon this year. We're both 8-5. I think we're very capable of beating Oregon. San Diego State is. And if that happens, then we're going to have to play against the number 1 team, which would be, well, unless there's an upset. If Ohio State or Cal somehow pulls off a win, then the Aztecs are going to be like the higher ranked team. And so one of those teams would play Georgia. But there's a darn good chance that if New Mexico and Michigan take care of business in their respective bowl games, and if the Aztecs pull off the win over Oregon, we're going to be playing against Georgia. And so that's why I'm like, oh man, it's like I want to win, but then again, Hunter, man, he's struggled. He's had it hard with his teams over the last few years. It's like he's got a lot of promise with Georgia, and then things fall apart. I really want to see him get that championship if possible, and I don't want to be the guy. At the same time, we got to compete, and it is what it is. So if it does come out that way, no hard feelings, I hope. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This is fantasy football. Any given Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Any given Sunday. But that being said, let's just go over these 3 bowls really quick here. You got number 7, Ohio State at 7-6, taking on number 2, New Mexico, who comes in with an 11-2 record. That's Phil Johnson's team, of course. You got Gerald Lane of Ohio State. His 2 teams, Michigan and Ohio State, have had solid seasons, and they're in the mix for a national title. That brings us to the Peach Bowl, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The Peach Bowl is a place that the San Diego State Aztecs have played in previous years, but not lately. Peach Bowl is a place we've never lost. California, number 6, comes in at 8-5, taking on the Michigan Wolverines at 8-5 as well. They're number 3. That should be a great game. And of course, now the Sugar Bowl, that's the Caesars Superdome in Nolens, Louisiana. It will be the San Diego State Aztecs, who dropped from 3rd rank all the way down to 5th on the last game of the season after being basically third all year long. That big loss on the final day to California caused them to fall to fourth. But the Aztecs do have a pretty solid record amongst championship contenders, so they did lose to Oregon in the regular season, so they end up fifth. But either way, it doesn't really matter what your ranking is. I mean, a game is a game, and I see Oregon as a solid opponent. They're a tough team, of course. I mean, they've got Justin Herbert among other things, but it's a winnable game. So let's go on back to the number 7 versus number 2 game, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Of course, this is all in our minds, fantasy, but it's fun to put a bowl on this stuff. That's part of the charm of this league, I like to think. Let's have a look real quick at the numbers. Bear with me as I get everything sorted out here. We got Ohio State, New Mexico. Ohio State comes in number 7, as we talked about. They are led by Jalen Hurts, who's having, his typical Jalen Hurts season, averaging 9 points a game. Last week wasn't so sharp. They really need him to be their leader if they're going to win this game. And Jalen Hurts basically is playing against, let's have a look here, Week 15. Remember, we have Week 14 off. We're not going to do a draft this week. And the reason for that is because the higher ranked teams get the higher ranked free agents. That's the way this league works. We award success. We don't award failure. So he's playing against Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers have a pretty decent defense. As you can see, they have the 19th ranked pass defense. So no easy task for Jalen Hurts coming up in this matchup. And, it would be nice for Gerald Lane if his quarterback wasn't going up against a pretty tough defense against the pass. Najee Harris averaging about 4 points at running back. He's solid. Kenneth Walker here has some sort of an injury flag. Let's have a look. He's limited in practice. He's questionable for Week 14. That's great, because we don't play until Week 15. So there's a chance to lick the wounds and be ready for action. So not too bad there. Jerry Jeudy is having a bounce-back season, averaging 4 points a game. Everybody seems healthy here in the passing game. They've got 3 wideouts that are all capable and all healthy. Wan'Dale Robinson, Xavier Worthy, looking pretty good there. Looking at the tight end position, they were able to uncover a nice little player in Tucker Kraft, who's averaging 2.5 points a game. Last week, he had over 4 points. I mean, he's taken over in Green Bay, and I have one of the Green Bay tight ends. And whenever I get on these videos that, I always get under pressure and I can't come up with the names quick, but I'll find them real quick here. I have Luke Musgrave, who was supposed to be the new, the tight end of the future for the Packers. I had to put him on IR because he's pretty much hurt all season long. And that gives me yet another season with Luke. I don't think I redshirted him last year. Can't remember. But either way, he's going to be in this league at least 5 years now because he's going to get the injury redshirt. But at any rate, looks like Ohio State was able to get the better tight end. I missed that one. As they got Tucker Kraft, I should have been looking at the Packers roster. In this league, it does pay to look at the backups for your main guys. If you have a starter for a team, you might want to consider their backups, even if they're not producing any numbers now. Next man up means that guy might be your starter should your main guy go down with an injury. And if I would have been watching, maybe I could have gotten Tucker Kraft. I'm not sure when Gerald was able to get him. It's hard to say. I'm trying to find it right now. Oh, there it is. He activated him. I think he's had Tucker Kraft probably since last season, so I would have had to gone back a ways to get him. At any rate, let's just keep on going down the list, see what kind of chances these guys have. Never mind these buys. Their defensive line is pretty solid, actually. They got 3 guys approaching 3 points per game, and nobody has an injury. And then they have kind of a questionable linebacker group. And the secondary, it's good with Nick Cross. He's definitely putting up some pretty good points there for a game. But the other 2 guys are kind of mid-range, average to decent. Kobe Bryant and Kyle Duggar. I like Duggar when he's healthy. So yeah, they look capable here. Ohio State not looking too bad. Let's look at New Mexico though. I think I was looking at New Mexico and there is some issues here. Of course, they have Caleb Williams, who has been a success. And it was definitely a good choice by Phil Johnson to release Bryce Young. Releasing Bryce Young was a good plan by Phil Johnson because, as I just said, Caleb Williams has worked out really well. 6.7 a game, that's solid. That'll get it done. It's better than nothing, and you can get bad numbers from young quarterbacks. The problem for New Mexico is they've got some injuries here at running back. J.K. Dobbins and Jordan Mason both hurt, both banged up. They were between them averaging nearly 8 points a game, about 8 points a game, actually. And that's going to be noticed. Now, Phil was able to pick up Tyrone Tracy, so good news there. He does have a bit of a running game, at least. The wide receivers, they're usually tough. The Lobos are, and they are again this year. Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, all playing, all healthy, and all kicking butt. So that looks pretty decent for the Lobos. Trey McBride is one of the best, if not the best, tight end in this league. And he's good to go. Having Pat Freiermuth as your second string tight end is not a bad thing. So it looks like New Mexico's got it going with the exception of the running game, but they can make up for that. If they can just get one good game in Week 15 from Tyrone Tracy, and he seems capable of doing that, they can go with a 3 wide receiver set or a 2 tight end set. They're very capable of doing that. So there you have it. I think that New Mexico's doing fine. And I think that they probably, with this, kind of questionable defensive line, but still capable, solid linebacker core here. Maybe Ernest Jones, a little banged up here, and Troy Anderson. That could be questionable for them. They have a, average pass defense in the secondary. I think that the Lobos have just enough to get over against Ohio State. But I think a lot of it is going to depend on what Jalen Hurts does. If Hurts comes out and throws up a huge game, it could cause real problems for the Lobos. And I want to look over here at their overall scoring on the season, points for. Let's have a look at that. New Mexico with the lovely score of 666.66. Whoops. Ohio State comes in at 580. So Ohio State at 580 divided by 666, they're operating at about 87% of what New Mexico does on an average week. So that is a little bit concerning, I think, for Ohio State. They're definitely the underdogs in this game, but it should be a good one nonetheless. Look, I'm going to stop this video right here, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to cover the other 2 bowl games. I just wanted to leave it at this one for now. And today, I am going to attempt to get some other games done here, some other videos covering these 2 other big bowl games, and maybe a little bit later next week I might kind of cover the non-championship bracket perhaps, and just kind of give those guys some love. But for now, I'm just going to end this one. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes at 7-6, number 7 in the league, going up against number 2 New Mexico, the reigning champions from last year. They are 11-2. And this one, the Rose Bowl, promises to be a good one because I think that Ohio State is capable of giving the Lobos a little run for their money. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.